Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day two of IBC in Amsterdam. We are here live from the Maxon booth. Um, we would like to welcome everybody present here as well as watching live. Thank you for joining us and hope you enjoyed day one. We have got exciting day two as well. And kicking off day two is Amin Farah, who's coming back to IBC after a few years. He's also known as the Black Lab Studio, coming from Italy, Ancona.
Yeah,
To be
exactly.
precise. His work is amazing. He's going to talk about his brilliant process and how he enjoys it. And also, you can download the assets here. The assets are created by the artist so for the community, so you all can download it and enjoy. I'll let Amin take over and give his presentation.
Thank you very much, Karen. So, hi everyone. I'm Amin Farah. I'm a 3D artist, art director, and professor in Italy for 3D design to students at the university. And I'm a C4D lover since R11, so it's been kind of 14, 15 years that I'm sticking with this beautiful software to create all my visions. And during my career, I had the opportunity to approach many different, a wide range of 3D projects. So from architectural renderings to product visualizations, from creating 3D videos of industrial technologies to crafting digital content advertising. But at the same time, guided from my profound curiosity and wanting to experiment stuff in 3D, I've tackled many different new techniques, different styles, and also different fields of the 3D world. So always with the 3D medium, by the way. I don't have a show reel, but I can show you some of my latest project. In fact, in this slide, you can see some videos where I played with Bulldog Gene 3D bottles, creating various animation, choreographies, and effects. So permutating the same element across different 3D animation and video loops. So the QR code that you are seeing there, it's about the AR invitation that we have made for this client for Bold Nights, these Bulldog Jing branded events, where you can see the invitation made in AR with the USD system of Cinema 4D and then uploaded on Sketchfab for the AR fruition. Another event, it was a very cool project that I worked on this year, is for the brand Defender. So beyond creating natural 3D environments on those giant screens that you can see on the image on the upper right, the client requested to depict the changing of the urban landscape. So I enjoyed, this is out of 3D, but I enjoy gathering many different maps from 1200 to today, and just stacking one over the other to create this mixed media loops. So this was very fun to see the final result of those gigantic screen that were reflecting of the model of the car on this event. I think that's there's an Italian here, but I also Italian. Cool. I also worked in the music industry, especially for the 20th anniversary of Negramaro, a very Italian, very famous band, working on all around the creativity for their album. So from the concepting to the final presentation, to the final product. But what truly set me apart is my specialization in digital fashion. As a 3D artist, I've mastered the language of pattern making, and this allowed me to offer 3D pattern design and product rendering services for fashion brands, campaign. So here you can see an example that I've made collaborating with NSS for Timberland. But, you know, This presentation, it's not about what I create, what you create. It's more about how you feel while creating. We will talk about this one, creativity and design approach. We will talk about the value and sometimes the necessity of research and development just to grow up, just to tackle new and bigger challenges, and most of all, to not just trust the process, but also enjoy the process. I would like to start with this Pablo Picasso quote. It says, "It took me a lifetime to learn to paint like a child." What it means. And I found it very interesting because we all think about creativity as a seed that starts to grow, and with elaborating and experimenting is grow and grows so much. In my opinion, it's not that. The technique, the way of expressing grows with our experience. In this case, Picasso was convinced that creativity was at its maximum peak at the starting of the life, in the childhood, and your duty was just to how can I say? With time we lose it if we don't preserve it. If we don't continue to feed that inner child inside ourselves. So I would like to start with a question to you and to the public that are seeing us online. When was the first time you have been creative? This is a kind of an exercise of introspection. And many times, while trying this with many friends and colleagues, for the people who right now live from their job of creativity, just find out that they never change. Here's my story, for example. I was 8 years old, and I had a big box of Lego made of every shape and color. So it was my treasure. But as my project went bigger and bigger or more complex, I didn't have in that same box the exact elements that I needed. So, the thing that I was doing, just to not interrupt the 3D process, the Lego process in that case, was to cut the pieces. Yeah, if I needed a 3-piece and I had just one of 5 or 6, I went carefully, by the way, but I just cut them to fit exactly on the project that I needed at that time. The rule, I know I was bending the rule, I know it wasn't the right thing, but in a certain way, it was the first time I broke the rules from a system. And so on. I even started dismantling other objects like electric toy cars and my mom's hair dryer, just to extract electrical components, because I didn't want it just plastic sculptures, but I wanted to animate them. So without knowing, integrating on the project, I started learning how an anode and cathode works. And if I invert it, I can change the rotation of the blades and stuff like this. At that time, so indirectly, I figured out that with this introspection exercise, I figured out that I never, how can I say, in hindsight, I realized that I haven't really changed, and I still love combining seemingly unrelated things to create something that works, all while having fun in the process. Back then, it was Lego, and today, for me, it's 3D. So, 3D, we actually don't have virtual limits, and in this 3D world, I have infinite pieces to work with. But I keep pushing the limits of the software with my creativity. The software sometimes struggles to contain that. In those 3 words, By the way, I'm a self-taught designer. So I started in high school with R11, a demo, I remember, just getting it from one of the stands, or the Maxon stands in Italy. And I started playing with this software. And I had surely to start creating a system of learning, just to know how I learn and just having to benefit in the best way possible for myself. And I can say, if this could be a recipe, in those three words, in this specific order, you can you can learn most of the things. So copy, in the most positive way of saying it. Copy, I mean, take inspiration from what already exists and works, or from the expert. Just look at the masters, at the expert, and then try to simulate and do the same stuff that they do, with humbleness and with curiosity. Transform. So again, adapt and modify that inspiration to make it unique and personal. And then my preferred one is to combine. So take two elements, apparently having nothing to do with each other, and find the common point. And then something magic happens. It can be applicable to anything. I'm not just talking about stylistically. For example, from a stylistic point of view, those are some of my illustrations, some art project, a 3D art project, where here we have social media, crypto coins, or even COVID at that time. Just seen from sacred and symbolic style. I'm talking, and this is how my mind works. Yeah, I had, my way of learning is, American calls it situational learner. I learned that I learn again a lot faster when I have a necessity. So I had to trick my brain always to create, to work on something to prove that I've learned that thing. So I start always from a base concept, and I needed always a lot of inspiration from many different fields. And then permutating it with the software, plugins, new feature, and technologies, it can just go, the output is a 3D project. So, and here starts, during this permutation, my interest in fashion, because you can read it, this scheme, in the opposite way. So, from in this way, for example, starting from a base 3D concept, inspired by softwares, plugins, new features, and techniques, can lead with the language of fashion to the 3D digital project fashion. By the way, if you want to know more about this specific topic, I have a Domestika course on that with a discount code, a very good discount that you can just type and know more about the fashion field. But it's not the topic of this presentation, not only. So my goal was, my desire was to translate the entire fashion experience into the 3D world, because I found out that I could experiment many tools in this field. So, how? Again, Pablo Picasso says, learn the rules like a pro, so you can break them like an artist. And a lot of people just got focused on the second part, on the rebel part. But no, this is an invite to humbleness. When you approach something new, you have to be humble to know that you don't know. And then from there you can start step by step. And this actually was my route, starting from knowing something, just a little on the theme knowledge, what is necessary in the production, in the representation of a digital garment, the glossary, all the words like warp, weft, patterns, and stuff like this. And then so on. Even without knowing, coming to the final creation of an entire shooting set. So garment, avatar, and all by necessity. Because, for example, okay, I learned how to make a garment, but now I have to put it on an avatar. But I can't pose the avatar just like in a pose, so I need to give it a proper posing. And then I have to compose the photography in a fashion way, and so on, until coming to scenography. So those were some of the copy phase of my works in the fashion field. So I was just imitating a simple shooting set, still life, and while starting to put a little bit of stuff from the 3D world. More on that later. But yeah, while exercising and sharing the process on social media, without even realizing it, I became an appreciated professional figure. So they were calling me to create those kind of projects where, for example, again, this is a brand named Aspesi, for their advertising, so to create digital samples for a digital campaign before even creating the first physical sample. And so on, like, for example, even Timberland. So the thing is that combining all my knowledge in the fashion field with the 3D artistic eye for photorealism, I could achieve also a great result on a macro perspective with a lot of details on my stuff. At the same time, starting transforming stuff. I was not just satisfied about achieving a good result, a good eye-catching result, but starting to experiment, to do different stuff, or using Cinema 4D native tools. I was working in Cloth 3D, Marvelous Designer, and I said, what if I make a clothing not using Cloth 3D, but using Cinema 4D tools? For example, here, there was my first experiments with the VDB mesher. Do you know this tool? It's with voxel, so I can create very plastic and malleable shapes by with all of those experiments. And here, other ones, all with the same tools, or using kit bashes, not for the way they were supposed to be, but has a head cap or stuff like this, so on and so on. But more than that, again, this way of abstraction was, development, okay, was actually very appreciated also in the production field. This is an example. XL Extralight are the same material, the brand that makes Crocs, O-bags. Do you know them? This very lightweight plastic. And they asked me to create an organic shape, an organic texture, but procedural at the same time for their sole with this rebounded material. And what I've used, I started unsure, saying, okay, I'll try. If you like it, we can go on. And this is the result. This sole is completely made with the VDB mesher inside Cinema 4D, and then use it in production. So here, the software helped me also in a not only digital way, but also in a production field. And the circular sneaker was born. And as you can see, the more expert can see that scalar effect, that it's actually a problem when we face it in Cinema 4D. But in this case, it was so cool by the feedback of the client. It looked like a lunar, but a terrassment, a lunar floor, but also a terrassment. So the artificial way of doing stuff. But I have to say that this was impossible to achieve if I didn't make this before. Just for the sake of fun, just to experiment, just to find new ways of doing stuff. I also worked on digital customs. This one is for Adidas, for the launch of the Ozra and Celox, where I worked also with RAL 7000 in English, genius guys, shoe designers that working together, combining our experience, we worked on this custom made from overpowered Wizard of Oz world. So this is the Dorothy one. This is the lions, the Cowardly Lion, the Scarecrow, and also the Tin Man, yeah, the robot. And then the project liked it so much that they asked me, why don't you create the character? Who will put those on? And again, without knowing, just going with the flow, trusting the process, I became a character designer just for the sake of doing it. This second part of the presentation is about storytelling. I was adding more and more soft skill to my projects, and all in a seamless way. So I started from works I've made that I will show you to learn more about expression of the face, to learn more about storytelling, about the environment of a specific character. So from rendering files to rendering lives. This is, do you know virtual influencers, right? This is this is Zaira. You can find her also on Instagram. It was a project of 2 years ago, where not only I reinforced my capabilities in post-production, because the head is completely 3D, or sometimes all the body, but also I focused a lot on the micro-expression that the person can give in a photo if she's looking or she's smiling but a little nervous while touching, for example, this cow. So all of those stuff enriched more my 3D skills, and I will show you. But before, there's this Italian proverb that says, impara l'arte e mettila da parte. Learn the art, transliteration, learn the art and put it apart. So everything that was spent in creativity or in experimenting, it's not wasted time. It's all stuff that you will bring with yourself for forever. And so this is one of my latest or most important projects. It's named Aspetto. It has a lot of emotional values for me because I did it after a long time of creative block. And as you can imagine, I've made an entire system to continue to take inspiration, and having this specific block just tear me down a lot until I worked on this piece. The name is Aspetto, and in Italian has a double name. Aspetto has an aesthetic, the aspect, the way, the aesthetic point of view of something, the looking. And aspetto is also waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for the inspiration, waiting for a bad mood to pass, waiting for the right moment. And in this project, I put all of my stuff, all of my stories, all different Easter eggs inside this one. And you can check it out on Instagram if you want to just look at all the different details. And in this specific case, I wasn't taking inspiration from a particular thing, or at least I was telling my story inside of this image. So in a certain way, I was taking inspiration from myself. I was rendering myself. And so on. I completely changed my approach to 3D. So 3D has a way to explore reality. I said, for example, what I would do if I weren't a 3D artist. I like pottery, for example. And so I made a render just for the sake of studying all the different tools, all the different elements that could compose a lab. You can see all the tools near the I don't remember in English, how do you call it? The one that turns for the vase. But here I always found new challenges. For example, the most interesting part was it's like a chicken and egg problem. I make the vase and then make the pose, or I make the pose and then the vase will just adapt to the shape. So I went fine-tuning all the stuff. So in a certain way, I was modeling the model that models the model, okay? If it looks like a tongue twister, what about a clay model of the model that models the model? And yeah, I feel so grateful. So I feel a lot of fun doing those stuff. And while working on a client's project, this is what I do on my spare time because I'm feeling so passionate about this work. It has every piece has a big emotional value for me. The more abstract one, the ones where I try to recreate reality or experimenting or trying to crack the code of other softwares like Marvelous Designers. Yeah, I'm having so much fun, but times is changing. Times, we could talk about the implication of a standardized and creative way, the technology in the creative field that is changing. But let's just say that in these running fast times, I had to think a lot. I had to face many things like about you think about creativity, so about the value of the research and development, about the value of spending so much time on stuff in a world where everyone competes to do stuff as quickly as possible. But this is my statement. In this new era where everyone competes to produce a result as quickly as possible, I think that the pure celebration of how things are made, how do you make it, and show the creative process is the best still and will be the best way of expressing your individuality. We are human. Inevitably, we assign emotional values to things. That's why DIY stuff are priceless. That's why behind the scenes are interesting. The process behind is the value maker. And I wanted to prove it. Let's test this concept. And I made something completely out of digital fashion. I invented a process. And it's named Mooking process. It's a crisis. It's about modeling and cooking, okay? And mocking also in a certain way. So let's get back to the scheme. I didn't had any chance to get inspiration by food. Why food? Because food in the digital world just completely obliterates its original functionality to feed. Okay? Have you ever eaten a digital donut? No? Me too. So the mocking process is, for me, a problem-solving skills improvement system. So I create the problems that I will find the solution for. An original way to flex your 3D muscles, a troll tutorial for newbies, the solution for 3D artists on diet, but more than everything, a way to simply play with 3D and have fun. And I set some rules. The rules that I set to myself are those ones, and I will show you the final result. No rendering, only view per screen capture, no baked simulation, so no alembic, no baking, no keyframe animation, no editing like VFX and stuff like this, only cut on the scene, match cutting. No espresso, the one with the notes, not the coffee beans. I need coffee. This is my map. So we all know how a recipe is made. It's made of steps. So for every step, I analyze it. I start with a scene definition, a proof of the concept, to try to represent how the scene could be with 3D, so finding the solution, prepare the asset, polish everything, camera setting, and then screen recording. On all in the silliest way possible. So what could be the first absolutely food that I can create? What about how to make a donut in cinema 4D this time? Here. Volume up. Sorry. So, thank you. As I said, it's very silly, but I laughed so much doing this, and yeah, I also tried to move the boundaries of Cinema 4D to work everything in real time. So as I said, it's all screen capture. So if I wanted to animate something, I just rotate it, move it, and so exercising my manuality. And as I said, I wanted to test it. It went viral, by the way, and a lot of people on social media were just saying, let him cook, let him cook. I'm kind of boomer for this, but I don't know. It was good. And also, people like EJ from iDesign said, wait, you can make donuts in Cinema 4D? Or people that I love, like David Dario, named Octane Jesus, said, genius. Or the co-founder of the D2 event that where they invite me, Fabio Palvelli, Italian, he said in Napolitan, fratem, t'appost, that in English is, my dear brother, might I inquire if you are still in full possession of your mental faculties? And Andrew Price, the blender guru, the donut guy himself, said, LOL, well done. And it was a very big success for me, so I continued doing it in a more Italian way. So the next one is the pizza Margarita with the Mooking process. Again, vertical format, because the final result was for social media, for TikTok and stuff like this.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you. I saw a weak applause. How many eat margarita with pineapple on it? No one. You, my friend. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So I had the possibility on those projects also to put some Easter eggs, to work with the sound, to make meme sounds and stuff like this, just for the sake of having fun. It has no. This kind of project has just has not a specific objective or stuff like this, if not the fact to have fun and to give fun to the people on social media, to entertain in a certain way. And I was saying about Easter eggs. Have you seen the tomato sauce, the Michillogico tomato sauce? And you can find Michillogico on Instagram. Is my dear friend, and he was working while I was making on this one on a project just playing with procedural tomatoes animation. And then I said, okay, give me your tomatoes and I will do the sauce for it. And then just showed out to you. So the last one that I would like to show you is the typical thing that comes at the end of an Italian meal. So the coffee. So mocha coffee made in Cinema 4D.
Nice.
So, thank you. So I'd like to finish this presentation with just this message. As a lot of us, me especially, everything started as a game. I started young at high school, just playing with Cinema 4D. And for me at that time was just a game, a way, a growing passion, and a way to just pass time. So remember that. And this is a thing that we always forget through our passions in many different creative fields, is that before it was a job, it started as a game. So remember to have fun every time and to enjoy the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amin. Did you all love the mooking process? So cool. I saw it and I was like, I want to eat that, but I could not because it's a render. Well done. We love it.
Thank you.